everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be choosing my Magical Readathon career and my TBR, so I thought I would take you along in the process with me. I will be posting my full TBR in a separate TBR video, but this video is just going to be me going through the careers, deciding which ones are right for me and picking out a few options, and hopefully you guys can vote at the end in the comments on which career you want me to take or which books you want me to read. Let's get started. So I have the full PDF of all the careers and seminars on my laptop, and I've already narrowed it down to just a few careers because there are so many in this PDF that I felt like I had to cut it down a little bit before I started this video. So let me just take a look and go through the ones that I'm definitely considering, because there are some that I just wasn't interested in. So on my maybe list I've put astronomer, Auror, healer, herbologist, Hogwarts professor, librarian, magic zoologist or ministry worker, and then within the ministry worker I would probably want to either do the magical creatures one or the Department of Mysteries one. So that's another thing to think about. I think in hindsight I'm going to cross out horror just because it's not really me. I don't think it would really fit my personality. I'm gonna cancel that one out. So that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 choices to choose from. Let me just go through the PDF and see what is required. Let's start with astronomer, I guess. That's at the top. Of course I'm at the bottom, so really I should have started on the one at the end. Okay, astronomy is the ancient art of reading, tracking and observing the movement of stars, moons and planets. Astronomers are often grouped with seers, however they base their readings on specific calculations and are greatly offended if their craft is described as anything else than scientific. That does sound a bit like me. It says here that the key traits are intuition, open-mindedness and perceptiveness. I feel like I'm very perceptive and intuitive. You only need 3 hours, so that's good. I only need to read 3 books, and those are arithmancy, astronomy and history of magic. So potentially I do quite like the sound of this one. I'm just going to have a quick look to see what the prompts are, because I think that's probably going to be the deciding factor on most of these. So what was it we needed? We needed arithmancy, which is read something outside of your favourite genre. Yes, I can do that. Astronomy, night classes, read the majority of this book when it's dark outside. Again, should be easy. And history of magic, which is a book about witches, which again, I can do that, that's quite easy. I do really like the sound of this one. However, because it's my first one that I've looked at, I'm not going to pick it right away, and also this seems really easy. I tend to read maybe up to 15 books each month. 3 seems super easy for me, so I'm not entirely sure I want to do that one, just because I want something a bit more challenging, especially because this is my first Magical Readathon. I didn't take part in the previous 2 years, so this will be my first one and I want it to be like impactful. Okay, so next we're going to look at healer. Key traits are confidence, yes, problem solving, yes, and toughness. Okay, I can maybe do that, although there are a lot of owls in this one. So whereas astronomy only had 3, this one has 3 subjects of your choice plus 5 more, so that's 8 owls. I know I said I wanted to make this a bit more challenging. I want to make it challenging for the right reasons. I want it to be a career that I'm passionate about, and I don't think healing is something that I'm passionate about really. To be honest, this one was kind of on the lower end of my maybe options, so I'm going to scribble it out just because it's too challenging for me to really get involved with when I don't really care that much. The next one is herbologist, another one that I wasn't sure about, but I put on here because it might be quite interesting. And for herbology I need care of magical creatures, herbology and potions. So that's 3, which again is really simple. I think I didn't like the potions prompt, if I remember rightly when I last looked. Let me just have a quick look. Shrinking solution, read a book under 150 pages. Now I've already got an April TBR planned out. I don't have any short stories left to read, so I don't think this one is going to be the one for me, unfortunately, and also it's not one that I was too keen on anyway, so again I'm going to scribble herbologist out. Now we're getting into my 4 favourites. This first one is Hogwarts professor, and that is one that I am super keen for. This is probably in my top 3, if not my top 2. So I'm strongly considering becoming a Hogwarts professor for care of magical creatures, because it's something that I'm really passionate about. I really like animals in real life and in the Harry Potter world as well. I think the care of magical creatures is actually my favourite class, so it's definitely something that I'm interested in. The only thing is I'm not a massive fan of children or teenagers, so that's not great. But I think if I was mostly caring for the animals and showing the teenagers how to care for the animals, that would be okay. Let's just see what this entails. So it says I need patience. I do feel like I'm quite patient. Authoritative, dedication, sense of responsibility and humour. I feel like that's quite a good fit. It says here that I must pass 7 hours in total, which is fine. 7 books is okay. A subject that you wish to teach, so care of magical creatures, defence against the dark arts and 5 additional subjects. Care of Magical Creatures says I have to read something with a beak on the cover. I'm not sure I've got any books like that, you know? I'm gonna have a look. I'm going to have a look through my bookshelves, and if not, maybe buy something or be a bit creative with this prompt. Defense Against the Dark Arts as well. I need to read a book set at sea or on the coast. I can probably manage that. There are probably quite a few of those. And then 5 other subjects that we can get into later. So I do like that this one lets me choose. It gives me the chance to pick some easier prompts or more difficult ones depending on what I decide. So I'm gonna put a star next to Hogwarts Professor because that's a strong maybe. The next one I chose was Librarian because, you know, I like books and I thought that would be quite nice. For this one you need 5 owls, which is a good number. 5 books is doable. Ancient Runes, which I think the prompt is something about hearts. Arithmancy, which we've already covered. Defense Against the Dark Arts, again, already covered. History of Magic, for that one you need to read a book about witches, and I can definitely do that. And Transfiguration, I haven't seen what Transfiguration is yet. Read a book or series that includes shape-shifting. Okay, I might be able to manage that or at least get creative with it, so maybe to the Librarian. Magical Zoologist was another one that I was really keen for because, again, I really like animals. The magical creatures was actually my favourite part of the new Harry Potter movies, and so this is why I was strongly considering this one. I think it would just be really cool. It says here the owls you need are Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, Herbology and Potions. So we looked at Charms yet? I'm not sure we have. For Charms you need to read a book with a white cover. That's easily doable. We'll probably pick some Brandon Sanderson for that, to be honest. Yeah, I could maybe do Magical Zoologist. And then finally I'm going to look into Ministry Worker, which seems quite intense. So it says here we need to complete 1A and 1B. 1B is the minimum requirements to work in the ministry. I'll need to read 5 books from Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, History of Magic, Potions and Transfiguration. Again, there's the Potions one, which I'm really not keen on, even though it's just for a short book. And then I've got very specific newts to do as well in August when the newts come around. And then I need to pick a department. So for the regulation and control of magical creatures, I also need Care of Magical Creatures, which is also a pass in owls, so that means I'll have to do 6, and then an A in History of Magic in my newts as well. This is very complicated. And then in the Department of Mysteries, it says I need at least 4 O's in newts level in your selected disciplines. Alternatively, inquire within the ministry after 5 years of ministry service. So I guess if we do this for 5 years, we can go into the Department of Mysteries. Maybe that's an easier way in because these prompts are actually quite difficult. Okay, I think Ministry Worker is beyond me at this point. I might try that for next year if I carry on with this readathon and decide to do it again. So I don't think I'm going to do Ministry Worker at this point, just because the entire thing baffles me and I think it might be a bit too difficult for me to do on my first one. So I've narrowed it down to 4 options. I could be an astronomer, a librarian, a magic zoologist or a Hogwarts professor. And I'm going to be honest, Hogwarts Professor or Magic Zoologist are my top 2 choices. I do like that the Magic Zoologist, you only have to do 4 owls, I think. Let me just quickly look at the description again. Yeah, so you need 4 owls and then 3 newts. Not that that really matters at this point. And then for the Hogwarts Professor, I need 7 owls, including Defense Against the Dark Arts and the subject that I wish to teach. And so I'm not entirely sure which one I want to choose. I'm really stuck by this because I definitely know that I want to do something with magical creatures, whether that's at Hogwarts or as like my own career. Maybe I don't want to go back to Hogwarts. So I think you guys should let me know in the comments below which career you think I should choose, Hogwarts Professor or Magic Zoologist. I think I would be more than happy with either. I just really like that the Hogwarts Professor is a little bit more challenging and also gives you a lot more flexibility with the subjects that you're going to learn. I'm going to have a look through my bookshelves now and see which books fit the prompts for both careers, and then I'm going to pile them up here and you guys are going to take a look. If you guys are excited for me to read a certain book, then maybe that will sway my opinion. So I will be right back. Okay, so I put some books together for my potential Magic Zoologist career. It was quite difficult, so I've managed to find a few books with white on the cover with M in the title. I don't have any short stories and I only have 1 book apparently with a beak on the cover. I feel like this might be too restrictive, but this is what I've got so far. My beak book would be Blackwing and it's also got white on the cover, I guess, so it might count for 2. Can you combine owls? I don't actually know. I'm gonna have to look up the rules. And then I picked out a few different M books. So first of all we have the Book of M. I know that doesn't start with M, but I thought it was too perfect not to do. I don't really know what it's about. I'm probably not going to go into all the synopses for these actually, just because I will do that in my actual TBR video. I have The Memory Keeper's Daughter. I took a bit of a liberty with this one because it's Empire of Sand. I think it counts. And Malice, which is a potential white book as well. I actually have a couple of white books that I could definitely read, which I have either been meaning to read for ages or I've been in the middle of for ages. First one is The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson, and the next one is The Dragon Republic. Finally. So I'm going to have a quick look at the books that I could potentially do for Hogwarts Professor because I think that's a bit more lenient and flexible. I will get back to you. Okay, after some light researching for my History of Magic Hogwarts Professor career, it turns out that, well, I already knew this, but I only have to do 2 set owls and then the other 5 I can decide on later. So I definitely need to do Care of Magical Creatures because that's the professor that I want to be. So that means I will be reading Black Wing regardless of my other choices. This one is a sure bet. It says I also have to study Defense Against the Dark Arts, which is fine. For this one I have to read a book that's set on the sea or the coast, so I have a few options for this. The first one that I picked out is my favourite Half Night Stand. I think this is San Francisco or LA or something, which I think is on the coast. I could be entirely wrong, I don't actually know where this is set. Maybe it's not on the coast, but it's got palm trees, so it looks like it's coastal. Passenger, it looks like it's set partly at sea. There's a ship. After the Flood, which again sounds like there's a flood and a sea. The world is underwater, so everything is technically the coast at this point. And The House on the Lake, so I do have some options for those. And then I guess if I choose to be a professor, then I can just decide on my TBR later on, and I can do a bit more mood reading. So really that one is appealing to me, although Magical Zoologist also sounds pretty cool. So let me know in the comments below which career you think I should go into, which books you think I should read, and I will be back on Wednesday with my April TBR, which will include my set career and my readathon TBR, and I will also be deciding on some seminars to do. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was kind of long and rambly, but I hope you enjoyed it. Do give me your opinions in the comments below, and I'll speak to you all in my next one. Bye.